London, my city. It was a monstrous place. Commerce and trade had made it that way, and filled its ever-expanding streets with the rural poor and the new urban rich. Wherever money has been made, men have spent it. And London in the 1750s, in the reign of George II, became the center of pleasure. Bathhouses, bagnios sprang up everywhere. As well as bathing, one could enjoy a debauch with ladies of all stations. Everything was available at a price, from 10-guinea courtesans to a lowly twopenny upright.
It's you, sir. Heard you might have a position. I'm a good worker. Do anything.
But pleasure had its victims too.
That's nice, sir. That's nice.
I felt compelled to make a proposal to Parliament to remedy this growing evil. I turned my attention from my celebrated works of fiction and accepted the post of magistrate of Westminster. And with my brother John, blind since youth, I resolved to create a new organization that would bring law and order to the city's streets. London was in need of a police force. We had a start. A parliamentary grant allowed us to recruit our very first Bow Street runners, all former constables, and henceforth our constant companions.
Who'll take a bet on 5 years? With this assembly? Who'll lay me odds there'll be no crime at all in London within 5 years?
You might not be here in 5 years.
Ah, Mr. Harris, sir. Harris keeps the best book in the city. Mr. Harris.
Sorry I was not here to greet you earlier, sirs. Would you gentlemen like a little something for afterwards? Well, let's see what a poor waiter can grind out of his mill, shall we? I have some notes jotted down, very casually. Come on, Nancy. Gentlemen waiting.
There is a body in my bathhouse.
It is dead.
Most assuredly, yes.
Whose body? Whose body, Mr. Harris?
Mr. Sexton, you must address yourself to these gentlemen. There is a notice upon their door, sir, to the effect that such matters must now be taken directly to Bow Street, yes?
What's going on, Mr. Harris?
A dead body, it seems, sir.
Excuse us, Mr. Harris.
Of course, sir.
The Bow Street runners have their first case.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
And you are depriving me of employment!
The Bow Street runners had been set up to deal with the proliferation of thieving, murdering gangs. It was not our brief from Parliament to trawl through the hundreds of brothels and bathhouses of Covent Garden looking for misdemeanors.
Steps, John.
But a body and one publicly reported was not to be ignored. It turned out to be a case that shocked polite society to its roots.
Any of you men investigated a murder before?
Me, several.
Is there a procedure for it?
Asking questions.
Well, I'll take the men upstairs and do so. Oh, and fetch Mr. What's his name? Jeffries to certify her dead. Great deal of blood, John.
Making any sense here?
Nothing at all.
No, not surprised. Look at the state of them. Did you notice anything untoward, sir?
Well, there is perpetually some disturbance or other.
You did not remark upon anything?
Nothing greatly unusual. A noise merely. A dog.
Come on, we're wasting our time here.
Her hands have been broken. They're black and suggestive of a deliberate fracture. I was having my supper, Mr. Fielding.
So was I, Mr. Jeffries. Clearly the man who did this had very little consideration for the comfort of others.
Next time you have any problem beyond your gout, kindly send for someone else. Yep.
Nobody's seen nothing, sir. It's not her, not him, whoever it was.
And you saw nothing?
Baffled, Mr. Fielding, baffled.
She has a pair of wounds, one deep cut, the other cut long in the fundament. And she's been raped in the anus.
Come through here. Now, do you recognize the lady? You sure?
Oh. What are we going to do?
Oh, did none of you think to check that she was dead?
Well, we hadn't. We were new to this. Although Miss Bell was but a low-class prostitute, her case was made sensational by its severity. She had been thrown downstairs, force-fed, liquor cut, as they said at the trial, as though she were a hog.
Just put your signature there, my dear, and I'll have it all...
I am sorry, Mr. Harris. I think it is one of your girls.
I don't recall it, sir.
She says she lives here, sir. It's about all she did say.
She needs to be laid down flat.
Is that Belle?
That's all right, Nancy. You and your memory must be all those mackerels you eat. Please, sir. No, thank you. I myself have a lousy memory.
That's why you have to write everything down, do you?
But I recognise it now as poor Annie. She was quiet to speak to, but she had a fine singing voice. We shall have to give you this for your trouble, sir.
No, I thank you.
Had you seen her lately?
Had you seen her lately, Nancy? Please, leave the blind gentleman to sit down. Do you know anything which may help these gents?
No, I don't.
Well, I know nothing. It's not lived under my roof for weeks.
You're a magistrate.
Yes.
Do you want a free go?
No idea, sir.
No, thank you.
I don't do business with this species of thing. The poor child would have passed her gift on to some gentleman and would have done so much the worse for his poor unfortunate waiter. We've heard about your secret police force, Mr. Fielding. It's interesting to see its workings.
Is Miss Bell upon your list?
Not any longer, sir, no.
Miss Bell?
She'll sleep for some little while, but I believe she'll live.
Oh, well, that's a blessing, isn't it? And she may stay here for free till she wakes.
Can you give me any information
Most generous.
that might allow us to find who did this to her?
May we look at your list?
Well, do not show my list, sir. I run a very secretive business, Mr. Fielding, as I'm sure you will appreciate.
It has happened before.
Your desire for discretion. But perhaps there's something about her which you've forgotten.
I know what is upon my list, sir, and there would be nothing there to help you. It is my hard and fast rule.
In the interest of salt...
No!
Perhaps we might retire for the night and let Miss Bell to sleep. Oh, excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
No matter, sir.
Harris's list of Covent Garden ladies. We'd all heard of it, but few had seen its contents. Such was its compiler's desperation to keep information about his girl's secret, that I knew, as a fellow scribe, it would most likely contain vital evidence.
I thought the Shakespeare had a good reputation for taking care of its whores, Mr. Harris.
Well, it's a matter of definitions, I suppose. A lot of women in Londoners might be called whores, Mr. Fielding. Girls in Piccadilly on £700 a year, as you might call whores. There's maids as bed down with their masters, who might be called whores. And where would we be if obliged to look after them all?
Henry, come.
Harris was not the first to exploit my weakness. It was well known that I had married my housemaid. And it did not go unnoticed our child was born 3 months later.
Move.
Which made my wife, in society's eyes, little more than a common whore. Harris's insult was a direct challenge to my authority, and would not go unanswered.
Gobbling little piss sack.
It's a shame they no longer let you write for the theatre, Henry.
That fuckster's too much above himself. How dare he talk about my wife like that? What do we know about him?
Well, he is what he is, isn't he?
Remarkable grounding you have in natural philosophy, Mr. Welsh.
He's the head waiter of the Shakespeare, where he acts as a procureur?
Pimp, John. Honestly, there are times you're so unworldly, it makes me want to weep.
He pimps for gentlemen of all ranks, from Boggis the glovemaker to the Prince of Wales.
It is alleged.
It is also alleged that he has 400 women whom he has recorded on a manuscript. He is rich and charming, and I have known him to buy his way out of trouble.
Now, ask around the piazza, see if anyone saw Miss Bell last night before she went in, and who she was with. Why did he lie to us about knowing the girl?
I don't know.
What?
Perhaps this may be of some help.
John? You have earned yourself a free bun.
We looked at Harris's list, and what we found within those pages was utterly absorbing. 400 whores were thoroughly categorized in lurid detail. And among their number was the half-dead woman we'd found.
The entry, Anne Bell, above the Shakespeare, has a line scored through it and a note saying, on the turn removed, and yesterday's date. Harris, on the other hand, told us she'd not been on this list for a few weeks. What does that suggest to you, gentlemen?
You're not thinking Jack Harris.
He's a straight fella, Harris. He's a good laugh.
Bill, you don't get to be Pimp Master General by dealing in sunshine and rainbows.
Henry, the young lady at the Shakespeare talked to me of such an attack happening before.
Before? Uh-huh. There are other entries. Disobedience, removed. Pox, removed. Oh, I'm not finished yet. Did you have any success in the piazza last night? To my mind, we must establish whether Anne Bell being attacked and removed from the list on the same night was a coincidence or something worse.
We do that by checking the others, surely.
Well, you gentlemen organise that, and we'll meet again this evening. Brother and I must ensure we're there when Miss Bell wakes up, since it seems she's our only witness at present. We'll also go and talk to some whores. Your friend, in particular. Oh, Mary, recollect yourself. You're not a housemaid any longer.
Right, let's have those reports over here.
Back again so soon?
Indeed we are, Mr. Harris. Has she woken up?
No.
I should like to go up and speak to the hall.
They're at their weekly meetings, sir.
So much the better.
I have dealt fairly with you, Mr. Fielding, but you have not dealt fairly with me.
What?
Where is my list, sir?
Ah, the famous list. May I go up and address them?
No, you may not.
I should not like to have to compel you, Mr. Harris.
I shouldn't advise you to try.
I will sit with the girl.
You are aware how women may be struck from the protection, are you not? And how capricious fate may be in such cases.
If you lie about your health, if you cheat, or if you refuse an encuntment. It's very fair dealings.
Or if you're disobedient, or poxed, or old. Do you know how old Miss Bell is? Where do you think you'll be in 5 years?
Blenheim Palace.
Come on, love. Let me put you in peril.
Well, I had hoped this evening to talk about how I, as a magistrate, might endeavour to save you.
Mr. Fielding, thank you so much for your kind offer to reform us and make us good. We shall, of course, take a vote.
Yes, well, at least recollect I have a house in Bow Street where information may be delivered confidentially. Please, take advantage of it.
He's French.
You're a clever man, Mr. Fielding.
Do you have time for a moment's talk?
No. What is permitted?
There are other authorities than the one under whom you slave.
I'm here.
I know. Tell me of the poor girl.
There's not much to tell. Annie and I started in the same week. I was hoping to find somewhere to be a laundress, and she's a year older than me. He's my husband, you know.
What?
Not just my employer. There are a number of us wives.
What? How can that be?
If he likes the look of you, but thinks you'll not respond to money, he'll put on his best behavings until he's tricked you off to his parson and then debauched you to his heart's delight. At which point he'll lock you away and let every man he fancies ruin you. Don't feel much like running back home after that. Are you married, Mr. Fielding?
No.
I do not recommend it.
You mentioned that this had happened before, Miss French.
Did I? My father was blind. He used to feel my face. He used to tell me I was pretty. Do you think I'm pretty, Your Worship? There might be more that I could say about a certain person. Like at the Turk's Head bagnio at Charing Cross and maybe some other bathhouses. Stuff that could hang him. If a bargain was to be reached.
I told you I would send word if she wakened, dear Mr. Fielding.
Did you visit Harrick's bagnio yesterday night?
I was here, Mr. Fielding, as I am every night. I'm missing some papers of mine. And this lady has gentlemen waiting upon her pleasure.
This is a disorderly house, Mr. Harris!
So it may be, Mr. Fielding, but it is my house, and you are in it. Good night.
This woman will name her attacker, sir. And if anything untoward should befall her during her convalescence, then certain gentlemen conducting certain businesses can expect to be put under arrest.
Nancy, I do hope that that was business and not insolence.
Not insolence, Mr. Harris.
Good. You bitch.
That's nice, sir. That's nice.
3 found dead mysteriously. 1 murdered, not given any justice.
Mark where they were found.
About 4 in the river. And killed themselves 7. The others had hanged themselves or jumped. Now this is the last 7 months. The London Chronicle and the coroner. Suspicious dead girls.
These are not relevant. We need murders. What about the Turk's bagnio?
Called Peggy Teague. Struck off the list in January.
Well, that is interesting. It seems there's a link between dead whores and bathhouses. Let's sharpen our wits to that.
If there were clues to uninvestigated murders in this list of Covent Garden ladies, then my brother John was the man to winkle them out. He had learned to identify over 3,000 criminals by voice alone. It was his command of detail, his logical mind, that laid the foundations of our procedure.
This one, bagnio at Longacre.
Coroner's report says about age 18, no name, dark hair, first week in February.
Is there a match?
I can't find her on the list.
Oh, the coroner's description is not very full. Keep looking. What about this one? The Strand. No. It's Charing Cross. The Turk's Head again. Miss Teague, of whom we know already.
Try Kirby's bagnio on Chick Lane.
Uh-huh. No. Nothing near there.
Well, Miss Bell has not woken up, and if you want my opinion, all the other halls in London are fast asleep too. Or terrified.
Then there's Haddock's.
North side of the piazza. It's not Harrods, but it's nearby. What have you for the coroner for that?
About 4 weeks ago, described as poxy negro and having cutting marks upon her.
Do you have a negress who has been taken off the list?
A Miss Cross, described as on the turn, living in Bridges Street, with a removed 4 weeks since. That is all.
Why do you think Sexton went directly to Harris when he found Miss Bell in the bathhouse?
Because it had happened before.
So many pins, so many lives. Let us complete this case.
Harris's guilt was tangible. His methods of inveigling women into his fold were well known. Reluctant recruits were locked into rooms and raped. He used sham marriages to seduce others. For the right price, Harris claimed that he could procure any woman that a man of wealth desired.
One matter troubles me. Why would Mr. Harris go about murdering the girls in the same way and in the same places? If one wished to rest undetected,
well, he's taken us, an informant, and a stolen list job. Scant interest in how whores die. Also, he clearly covers his business like a cat shitting. These women were not ignorant, John. They were frightened. I think he punishes them.
And why in the same way?
Why do you always tie your cravat so?
What? It's the way I do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday evening, you discovered a body in your bathhouse. Your first thought was not to go to Bow Street, but to come here and tax Jack Harris with it. Why?
Was it? Excuse me, this beef has worms in it.
Why did you come to Harris?
Purely,
Was it because the girl last night recalled a memory?
Did you perhaps remember that another girl of Harris's, a negress, had lately been discovered in the alley behind your premises? We are magistrates, Mr. Sexton. There are 223 capital crimes.
A good waiter helps his guest digestion by ensuring they're left to eat peacefully.
Then leave us to talk peacefully.
I thought it was usually the organ grinder who was blind and the monkey who could see.
It's Annie.
Was that Miss French?
Yes.
Leave him. Miss Bell has come to her wits.
Go to Bow Street, fetch Mr. Welch, Mr. Peddler.
No. I'll be troubled enough for what I've done.
Someone said to Bow Street!
All doors are open, sir. There is nothing to disguise here. Here she is.
Miss Bell, my name is Henry Fielding. I am a magistrate. Will you be so good as to name your attacker to me?
You're welcome, Annie. Tell the gentleman anything he needs to know.
What has been said to you here? You fuckster!
Ooh, and in my own place and all. This is my house, Mr. Fielding!
Oh, Mr. Welch.
This is not an easy thing to say. The surgeon, having examined you, has given me word you have your death wound.
Mr. Fielding!
Take him out of here! Mindful of those who may come after you, and as a Christian, will you give me the name of the man who was your murderer? Whatever Jack Harris threatened or promised you may now be utterly disregarded. It was he
Was it not? Yes.
Will you send duty to my mother and father? They believe me to be a seamstress.
Yes, you have my word. Now, who gave you your wound?
The gentleman. The gentleman. With an open face and natural wig.
Recollect yourself.
Henry, that's enough.
Are you women out of your wits to submit to such a man? Name him. Name Jack Harris.
Oh, God, Henry.
Well, we now have a murder.
That was stolen from me, sir.
When did you decide to remove Anne Bell from your list?
Some time since.
Then why is Saturday's date beside her name?
I'd been late on my bookkeeping and was reminded to score it out because of the fuss when it came home.
Why did you give her 3 guineas tonight?
Charity. Miss Teague, redhead, removed January 8th. Miss Cross, negress, removed May 10th. What would you say if I were to tell you both of them were found dead on those dates? Just as the discovery of Miss Bell on Saturday coincided with her removal from your list.
I would say that someone had been drawing imaginative inferences better suited to the plot of his own novels than to the procedure of a secret police force.
It was also the matter of the negress. I'm behind your premises!
Mr. Sexton!
Please, Mr. Harris has something of a vengeful temper.
Mr. Harris's vengeance will be severely limited when he's hanging from the end of a rope.
And what assurance do we have that such will occur, Mr. Fielding? Thank you. Now, if you don't mind, I should probably be going.
Any luck?
I was about my business as the keeper of Haddock's bagnio when I saw John Harrison, also known as Jack Harris of the Shakespeare's Head, enter my premises and descend downstairs with a young lady whom I later discovered to be the deceased Anne Bell.
But did you actually see him do it?
I did not.
Here, please, Mr. Harris. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to make your stay more comfortable.
You must go back to the Shakespeare, John, and make your bargain with that girl.
Henry.
I'm not making a dog's breakfast of our first investigation! She must lay evidence.
On the face of it, John looked an unlikely administrator of justice. My half-brother was born to a Catholic mother, and so could not follow me to Eton. But his lowlier social position and his blindness, which descended on him when he was 19, had sharpened his passion for justice.
Good night, Mr. Fielding.
If you have any information regarding Miss Bell, Miss Teague, or Miss Cross, I would be urgently obliged to you.
You are aware that the bargain with my profession is that you pay for what you get.
What is it that you could tell me?
I work could tell you all sorts of things depending on... Maybe we should see how we like each other first. I like you, Mr. Fielding.
Well, I like you too.
I know that it is part of what I've been brought to, that I have to give the pretense of liking people, but I liked you as soon as I saw you.
I am a magistrate, Miss French.
I am a pretty little cook. This is my bargain. I give you enough rope to hang him, and you give me a position. Come. I can sit in your kitchen, baking, all quiet. And you'd know there was a lovely little gift waiting for you whenever you got hungry for something else. Hmm?
Yes. Very well.
Bargain?
A bargain.
There is a look in the eyes, all of a sudden. Burning cold. That is when you know, John. Do you wish to seal the bargain now?
No, not yet. Continue.
You know that you'll not get paid, perhaps. Not be able to sit down for a day. Or lose a tooth or two. Or worse. You have to take in more and more as you get old. Like me. That's why it's so nice that we come into an arrangement. He knows them.
What?
Jack knows the unkind ones who do such things. Does not let most of us give company to him most of the time, but he knows who they are. And he knows the price at which things can be sold. There is your rope.
Let me be perfectly clear as to what you're telling me.
I'm telling you, Jack can put you together with your final customer.
But I cannot hang them on this. I cannot keep my promise to you with this.
That was our bargain.
No.
Magistrates need cooks, sir.
No.
Just like they need swiving. Or is one whore in your household sufficient?
I cannot help you. I need to know who killed Anne Bell.
The devil take you then. Go swive on your own account and I'll see to myself. My father was not blind. Would have made me sick if he was.
For himself.
Charming.
Mr. Fielding.
What is it? There's been another murder.
This time she is dead. Oh, God.
Another corner of the city, another bathhouse, and another whore slain in the same manner as the last. Yet all the while, Harris was in our custody.
I have been quite wrong, haven't I?
We both have. Harris is next to these crimes. He's the organizing principle. And it's no wonder he's been trying to conceal it. Rather than killing them, he takes money for passing them on to men who do.
I don't know which is worse.
But he didn't commit the murder, Henry. We will have to let him go.
Anything?
Not even a name.
I will give you some information, Mr. Fielding, for nothing at all. April 1748. There was a gentleman who cut the throats of at least 6 of them over the course of a fortnight. Did any secret policeman investigate that?
I'm not an apologist for my predecessors. Tell me his name and I will arrest him. Tell me who bought Anne Bell from you and I will arrest him too.
It's no moral matter. It happens, Mr. Fielding. It's what certain gentlemen do. It's as natural as breathing.
Is that really your view of the world, Mr. Harris?
I am not a political or religious man, sir. I do not have my eyes set upon a blue sky above the privy fumes. I just see the facts and do my business around them.
As a man, look into your heart and consider what terrible cruelty it is.
Man is an animal of passions, sir. And pretty much all his dealings have some measure of cruelty.
And you are an especial purveyor of cruelty.
And who might have told you such? Nancy's a queer one. A little loose of tongue. And works her charms in various cunning ways. Well, I'm not leaving without my list, sirs.
Miss Lee, Berwick Street, tall and genteel. 17. Gives enthusiastic sucks.
Oh. That's just awful.
That is a prisoner's property, Mr. Pentlow. Mr. Khan, let us recollect who we are.
Yes, Mr. Fielding.
How many are on that list?
About 300, give or take.
And who are the youngest ones? The ones he charged the most for?
Ah.
Returned property.
Thank you. I've been sitting, and I've been thinking. I'm wholly on your side, personally speaking. But then again, my favourite read is not Tom Jones, but Don Quixote. I've a soft spot for windmill tilters, for the blind, and the crippled. I'm like Jesus in that respect.
What is this?
Is that them all, Mr. Pentlow?
No, sir, Mr. Carnes is bringing in at least a couple of dozen more. Now then, ladies, Jonathan's.
Mr. Fielding.
Sadly, there's been another murder. My brother and I thought it expedient to bring the young ladies into custody for their own protection, while such men walk the streets.
This way, please. Follow on through to the copter.
You cannot sustain this. Who will feed them? Where will you keep them? Where will you put the pickpockets and the Irish?
You're sure we'll find a way. Good day to you.
You're not to be bluffed. You do not fuck with Jack Harris's livelihood, nor do you steal his property!
We merely wish to obtain a result, Mr. Harris.
She was sold to a Mr. William Sutton, Clerkenwell Green.
You will lay evidence to that effect?
Oh, yes, I think you can talk to Mr. Sexton about that.
Thank you. As Mr. Harris has since written, man is an animal of passions, and that which is subject to its passions has no steadiness. But our runners had steadiness in abundance.
Gentleman over there pays his compliments. Mr. Sutton, there's a warrant for your arrest.
was not within our power to remedy man's nature, no more to reform the injustices of society. We had to proceed case by case, individual by individual, pinprick by pinprick.
When accounted for, so many unresolved.
Indeed. But this has been a first step, gentlemen, and we have made it well between us. Your health.
And yours.
Your health.
Blood in your eye.
Mary, if you will. Oh, I've been thinking. It's dangerous here for a woman with this work. Why don't you take the children and go to the house in Twickenham?
I am your wife, Mr. Fielden. You asked me to be so, having debauched me, and I will stay here, regardless of what is said about my character. Gentlemen.
Gentlemen, excuse me.
£2 guineas for you, sir. Return so soon to vex my tired heels.
Is Miss French here?
I don't recall the name, sir.
What? Nancy French.
I don't know the name, sir.
Mr. Harris?
John did not give up his crusade. He helped found the Magdalen Hospital, a reformatory for fallen women. A small gesture in this large city, perhaps. But then, so were the Bow Street runners. But we had made an impact, and the cheats and the criminals now knew our name.
Next Monday, The Maid has the clues to a reverend's death. Scandal and gossip pervade as City of Vice continues at 9 o'clock. Next tonight, check out the pom-poms on Kirsten Dunst, cheerleading antics in Bring It On.